What do you guys expect? How's this going to change America after today?
You know, it's a big move. It gives America a chance to have more. They'll realize there is a chance in these court systems if we fight hard, if we have support. We cannot be silenced. People like, there's a man named Schaeffer Cox right now sitting in Illinois. No support. He's over there by himself. He's a family man. He was a politician from Alaska, and he's sitting in Illinois in a federal prison for this same type of case.
Exact same thing.
But people need to stand up and say, we've had enough of this. We want justice. We don't want misjustice.
We want political prisoners set free. We have political prisoners all across this country. Cliven Bundy and the rest of these defendants have been political prisoners for 2 years denied bail for again, based on an indictment that was completely false, full of lies, where the prosecution made fun of the defense, saying Cliven Bundy lied to his supporters and said snipers were pointed at him, and therefore people came based on these false information. And now we found out that the people actually came because that was very true. There were snipers pointed at people. There was surveillance happening. People were going to die. So, you know, people need to start supporting other political prisoners out there, like Jeff Winehouse and Schaeffer Cox and Ed and Elena Brown.
This is a step away from another Waco.
It does. Yep. Cliven gets to go home today. Anybody of you guys are just joining us today, right now, Cliven gets to go home. All charges have been dismissed with prejudice. This case is over with. This indictment against these men have been dropped today.
And one thing to end this with, Lavoy Finicum would not be dead today if they had not been isolated on Highway 395, alone, completely surrounded, with guns firing at them when they were driving down the road. He would be alive today if they tried to do that to him at a situation like in 2014, because there would have been people showing up, eyewitnesses, something more than just a silly black and white drone that we can hardly see flying overhead. He would be alive today if they had not broken all of their own laws, set up a kill stop at the end of that highway and open fire on them.
Hey guys, Gavin here. Just wanted to do a little update about the Bundy case today. Very exciting times. The case against Ammon and Ryan and Cliven and this whole batch here, that the whole fiasco has been going on with the leaked documents and all this. The case was dismissed with prejudice today. Now that means that the prosecutors cannot bring it again. It's done. It's over. They lost. But we also didn't win. And I think this is a really important thing, and I want to bring up a couple points. Congratulations to the family. I mean, I'm so glad that Cliven and all these people are out with their family. Now, we still are looking at some of the other guys, and they could bring this back to trial again, because some of the guys that weren't in this trial, okay, some of the Bundys were in the upcoming trial that's coming next. Now, that should absolutely be dismissed, but it's still in flux as to what's going to happen, of whether they will bring those guys to trial at all. The whole case is a sham. The prosecution was just appalling misconduct, but here's the thing. We'll see what happens going forward. The important thing is that all the Bundys are out with their families, that everybody from this current trial is done. It's over. They can't bring them back again. But don't think that the federal government is going to give up either. When you look at what's happening here, what this is really a reminder of is that there's no law in our courts. They do whatever they want, whenever they want, to whomever they want, with impunity. And this is what we really have to understand and start standing up to. Understand that for a case like the Bundys, where thousands of people and many voices were supporting them, there were other federal cases all over the nation today where people were getting railroaded and locked away in prison without that support, without those leakers willing to put stuff out there. And I think there's a second really important message here. Number one, of course, is to understand that this doesn't make the courts good. It doesn't make the administration good. They lost this case because people defied the courts. Instead of saying, hey, let's just play along, do what they're told, follow the system, and we'll come out on top, people said, no, we're going to leak the sealed documents. We're going to expose what the BLM was actually doing at the Bundy Ranch, the crimes that they were committing. And when those came out, it was an uproar, and it destroyed their case. Had people complied with those illegal court orders, had they been silent, had they not leaked those documents, it would have been very different. And see, most cases, most people being railroaded in a federal or a state or even a local court don't have this benefit. The prosecutors make up the facts. They fabricate the narrative. This is what was happening to me in my county, and it's why I said, you know what? I'm not willing to comply with you anymore. I'm not willing to tolerate it. I'm not willing to consider that I should have to give you passwords to my phone. And I'm not even willing to hear your lies in the courtroom because I don't recognize your treason as law. When we refuse to comply, everything changes. And there was some good lawyers and there was some real fighters fighting for the Bundys throughout this process. You know, people like Morgan and like Rick and people for some of the other defendants as well. But lawyers aren't fixing this, and courtroom battles aren't fixing this. What makes me happy is God got the glory on this today. He confounded these evil tyrants and made fools of them because they thought, they act in lies and deceptions, and he aired their deeds done in darkness to the world. And so they lost the battle, not because of legal filings and motions, even though those were important throughout the process. They lost the battle because they were confounded and exposed. And there's a message here of exposing those tyrants, of standing on our principles, of refusing to comply, of however you think you should, right? Whether you're like me and you say, I'm walking away so I can maintain the voice and keep standing up for the prisoners and protect my family from these violent criminals. Or whether you're like Ammon and Cliven and Ryan, you're in a jail cell and you're refusing to comply with their absurd and abusive orders. However you stand, as long as we with principle resist, defy, and disobey the tyrant, if we do that en masse, if that message picks up, they lose their power. They only have power over us at the point of a gun. And when we refuse to be intimidated by that, their power is gone. So let's not forget all the other prisoners, the Jeff Winehouses and the Schaeffer Cox, the Browns, Fisher of Min, Ross Albright. The list goes on and on and on and on. The prison system must be torn down. One victory isn't enough. Our justice system has to be replaced from the ground up before we can have freedom again. And justice is not locking a man in a cement cage after a kangaroo trial. That means every prisoner in the nation has been illegally convicted and illegally locked away, and we should assume their innocence. Peace, guys.
Now.
Okay, all right. I don't know if you know this or not. The trial is over. The case is over. The Bundys are being released.
Do you know if they're going to retry them, or is it?
No, no, it's over with.
Great, praise God. Wow, I bet there's joy all over America.
Yes, here's the thing. During the celebration, everybody needs to analyze what made the difference, and I'm going to tell you the difference. People speaking out and exposing the corruption within the courts brought to justice the court system in the focus with the people of America looking into what's really going on. Had nobody been there complaining and exposing this, the Bundys would have lost. Vincent Finelli is my friend, but on this matter, he's wrong.
Amen. Amen. I agree. We've got to speak up, and you know, people are concerned about you, right? They're concerned about what's going to happen to you, that they're going to send in people and rough you up, but they've already taken away your freedom, Mike. I mean, what else can they do to you? So I'm with you.
I am safe, Rudy. I am safer with exposure. When I'm not getting exposure, that's when I'm at risk.
Amen. I agree, Mike. I agree.
Look at what they did to the Bundys. They roughed them up. They did the same thing. They try to starve you. They try to do everything they can to beat you down because they're bullies and they want you to bow your knee and submit to them. And I don't submit, and that's what they don't get. I don't submit.
Amen.
It's not in my nature.